on the news. High-powered presidential team visits police training school in Thai local government area. Tinubu vows to smoke out terrorists as US threatens military action. Plus, 2 new ministers take oath of office at State House, Abuja. Hello, good evening everyone, and thank you for joining us on Rstv World News. I am Solomon Nelson Braid. Do you love and care about your state and on peace? Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is a task we must accomplish. You can watch Rstv News live on YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. You can also subscribe and click on the notification bell for update on our live feeds. A presidential committee set up to overhaul Nigeria's security training institutions has visited the long-abandoned police training school in Nowa Tai in Rivers State. The team, chaired by the governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, said it is determined to deliver a comprehensive plan for the full rehabilitation of all such facilities across the country. Tamno Brabi Bulubu continues with the report.
At the Nigerian Police Training School in Nowa Tai, silence has replaced the drills and marching songs that once filled those grounds. What remains are crumbling classrooms, vandalized hostels, and training fields overtaken by weeds, a symbol of years of neglect. Today, members of the Presidential Committee on the Overhaul and Revamp of Training Institutions for Security Agencies came to see for themselves. Chairman of the committee, Governor Mba, said the president personally inaugurated the committee because he recognizes that security issues were at the crossroad, noting that nothing short of a complete and urgent overhaul is required.
These training facilities have endured decades of neglect, right? And then you have a president who suddenly says, look, we cannot continue this way. We must essentially ensure that the men and women who protect our communities, they must be exposed to an environment where we can train them to understand what it means to have to be professional. And so this is like a mission, a national mission to restore the integrity, the professionalism, and the confidence of the men and women who protect our communities.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara is not a member of the committee but accompanied them as host, confident that their mission is not just about rebuilding structures but about restoring confidence in Nigeria's security services, rebuilding morals and professionalism within the police force.
The president has come out to make a bold statement that he wants police officers that will be trained, that will be engaged to come out professionally. And I strongly believe that with the situation of our country today, it is not a mere talking. He meant every word he has said. Let me also add here, it's not just about putting the facilities together. It's a whole package. At the end of the day, police will be motivated so much that they will also act professionally like any other police in any part of the world.
Governor Dakpo Abiodun of Ogun State said the committee has just 4 weeks to complete its assessment before submitting a full report on budget framework to the president.
This is a very clear demonstration by the president of his political will as, you know, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces to support the law enforcement architecture. And it is in line with that support of his to ensure that the law enforcement architecture needs to be more robust. You cannot incubate policemen in this kind of environment and expect them to behave like human beings when they get outside. So whatever it is we expect of them, we must instill in them when they are being trained, and that is why we're here.
The committee says it will move swiftly from inspection to reconstruction with a promise that the rehabilitation will not be a patchwork but a total rebuild. Tamuno Barabi Iblubo, Rstv News.
River State government has reiterated its commitment to create the enabling environment for women to perform optimally in the medical, governance, business, and various sectors of the economy. Deputy Governor of the state, Professor Ngozi Odu, made the promise at the opening of this year's Medical Women's Association Week holding in Port Harcourt. Professor Odu said the governor Fubara-led administration will continue to support initiatives that strengthen capacity, promote mentorship, and ensures that no woman is left behind in the pursuit of excellence. She expressed that as women in medicine, they stand at the intersection of science and service. The Deputy Governor noted that the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria, M1, has over the years remained a shining example of professional excellence, compassion, and commitment to national development. According to Professor Odu, the theme, empowering women in medicine and building capacity for impact, is very timely in a world that is constantly evolving, and emphasized that empowerment is not just about giving women opportunities, but equipping them with the knowledge, confidence, and tools to lead, innovate, and inspire others. In a keynote address, the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Adezore, noted that although women represent 67 to 70% of the health workforce, the representation is concentrated in low status, informal, and low-paid peer groups with underrepresentation in leadership positions. According to her, the World Health Organization estimates that the essential healthcare services women provide for around 5 billion people globally have a financial value exceeding $3 trillion annually. President of M1 River State Branch, Dr. Cecilia Lelono Wembobasa, said that during the M1 week, the association aims to harness the unique skills and passions that female medics bring to improve the health of the populace, the health of the population they serve. She added that they do this selflessly, passionately, and intentionally, integrating their mission into every aspect of their work. Away from that, the committee set up by the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, to investigate the circumstances that led to the collapse of the just commissioned Gwara water facility in Kana local government area of River State, has said it is on top of the situation to restore water supply to the local dwellers. The vice chairman of the committee and legal advisor of HYPREP, Ichibo Gawon, stated this while briefing newsmen in Port Harcourt. Justice Ehiwo now reports.
Gowon, who represented the chairman, Professor Damian Kalagwe, noted that the committee is deeply saddened with what happened and has visited the site to have first-hand assessment of the situation, which findings will be made public in due course. He noted that so far, HYPREP has commissioned 16 water projects without defects and promised to get to the root cause of the collapse.
You, as part of the team that visited the site, what we discovered was we had broken walls with wreckages all over the ground. I think we should just be rest assured. Like we said, we're on top of our game. Whoever needs to be punished should be punished. But as what we're more bothered or interested in is to see that we get water back to the Gwara people.
Also speaking, the HYPREP chief engineer, Mr. Tabe James, who is also a member of the committee, said HYPREP has recorded 5 million man-hours of no loss, which speaks to the high safety standard and culture it had maintained. Mr. James pointed out that HYPREP does not compromise quality and standards, and consultants are used in most of its projects, ensuring that they follow specifications in all phases. According to him, there is also a monitoring and evaluation unit of the project that ensures that contractors comply with specifications, aside staff supervisors, also geared towards delivering quality projects to the people of Ogoni.
investigation is still ongoing. There are debris all over the place, but if you go there, you see that the foundations are still in that. So it's ongoing to carry out proper investigation, testing on materials and certification that will go the real measure.
On his part, the head of communications HYPREP, Dr. Enolare Wigo, assured that the government engineering team and that of HYPREP are working in synergy and added that the outcome of the investigation will determine the action to be taken.
This damaged facility will be restored as quickly as possible. There is no compromise on the quality of all HYPREP projects, and that is because HYPREP has put in place consultants who check for quality control and quality assurance, and it is in line with our commitment to delivering quality projects to the people, then equally committed to seeing to the speedy completion of all our other projects.
Justice Ihunwo, Rstv News.
President Bola Tinubu on Thursday swearing two newly appointed ministers, Dr. Bernard Mohamed Doro and Kingsley Tochukwu Ude, at a brief ceremony held inside the council chambers of the State House, Abuja. The swearing took place shortly before the commencement of the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by the President. Doro, a pharmacist and lawyer from Plateau State, replaces Professor Netanwe Goshwe Yiltwada, former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, who resigned after emerging as a national chairman of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. His nomination was confirmed by the Senate late October. Ude, a senior advocate of Nigeria SAN from Enugu State, takes over the portfolio of vacated by former Minister of Science, Innovation and Technology, Uche Naji, who resigned following allegations of certificate forgery. Ude's appointment was confirmed by the Senate earlier on Thursday after a brief screening during plenary. Until his elevation to the federal cabinet, he served as Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice in Enugu State. This is Rstv World News. Do you love and care about River State and our peace? Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is a task we must accomplish. You can always subscribe and click on the notification bell for updates on online feeds. And in part 2, after the break, longest U.S. government shutdown likely to affect air travels in coming days. And in sports, fans protest naming of South African ref for Nigeria-Gabon World Cup playoff. We'll be right back with these and more just after this timeout. Stay.
There is something about this God.
Activating the unexplainable love of God.
Greater love had no man than this.
Better love than no man,
That a man laid down his life for his friend.
You see, when God loves you, he fights your unseen battles. You are sleeping, you don't even know what is happening, but he's there fighting your battles for you. You are sitting in your house, he will raise a voice somewhere to be campaigning for you. Today, every storm in your life shall become still. The best way to find true love is to find God. Remember, God never sends you into a situation alone. He goes before you, he stands beside you, he walks behind you, he's always with you. All those that rejected you, as the Lord liveth, they must surely bow before you. When you have nothing left but God, you will discover that God is enough. God knows how long you have waited. Every second will be what at the end. So it doesn't matter how the devil have damaged your life now. Don't worry. God is about to remold you, repackage you, redesign you, and beautify you.
OPN, Dr. Jesus in action. Dr. Jesus in action. God is here.
Banks, our schools, our hospitals. Let's stand together. Let's protect our networks. Dial 622 from any network or send an email to protect@ncc.gov.ng to report any suspicious activity around telecommunication infrastructure.
This is Rstv World News. We bring you world-class news, accurate, first-hand, entertaining, balanced analysis. Rstv, Channel 22 Port Harcourt.
You're welcome back. President Bola Tinubu on Thursday assured the United States that his administration will defeat terrorism in the country. President Tinubu, in response to concerns raised by President Donald Trump, said, despite the political headwind, the Nigerian government will continue to engage with its partners. This is as the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, said that the nation's economy is witnessing a progressive growth. President Tinubu spoke shortly after the swearing-in of two new ministers from Enugu and Plateau states. Moving on, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, in collaboration with the Islamic scholars and organizations, on Thursday called for stronger unity, cooperation, and non-violent strategies to counter terrorism and extremism across West Africa and the Sahel. The call came at the close of the West African Islamic Conference on Security and Governance, held from the 4th to 6th November at the ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja, Nigeria. The three-day conference, which was organized by ECOWAS and the Jamiyatu Ansaruddin Atiyaniya, brought together Islamic leaders, traditional rulers, political figures, scholars, and representatives from the ECOWAS member states, as well as international organizations. In his address, President of the ECOWAS Commission, Umar Toure, described the conference as a landmark in regional cooperation against terrorism. The ECOWAS Commission President reiterated that the region's body's action plan against terrorism focuses on both kinetic and non-kinetic strategies and emphasized the need to modernize the traditional Quranic schools to prevent youth radicalization. The African Union Observer Mission for Tanzania's recent violence-marred elections said that the polls failed to meet international democratic standards. In a statement, the continental body said monitors saw voters vote being issued with multiple ballot papers and the stuffing of ballot boxes. Obubele Brapaka has details.
It said several members of its monitoring mission were asked to leave polling stations before the counting process was concluded, and restrictions were also imposed on media outlets in the run-up to the election, while civil rights groups were hindered from educating voters. A shutdown of the internet on election day and afterwards also compromised the integrity of the poll, while the government said the election was fair and transparent. President Samia Suluhu Hassan was declared the landslide winner of the disputed 29 October vote that triggered deadly protests. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has warned that air travel capacity will be cut by up to 10% at 40 major airports over the coming days if the government shutdown continues. The decision, which is expected to affect domestic flights only, was made because air traffic controllers had been reporting fatigue, the head of the Federal Aviation Administration said at a briefing alongside Duffy. Some 1.4 million federal workers, from air traffic controllers to park wardens, are working without pay or are on forced leave because the U.S. Congress had not agreed a federal funding budget. Unions say many employees are becoming ill with stress or are being forced into taking second jobs. On Wednesday, the impasse became the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Nancy Pelosi has announced her retirement from Congress, ending a decades-long career that saw the California Democrats become one of the most powerful figures in U.S. politics. In a video message on Thursday, Pelosi said she will not be seeking re-election to Congress at the end of her term in January 2027. It marks the end of a storied political career. Pelosi, 85, became the first woman to serve as Speaker of the House and led her party in the lower chamber of Congress from 2003 until 2023. Pelosi was first elected to Congress to represent San Francisco in 1987 at the age of 47 and quickly rose through the ranks.
This is Rstv World News. Do you love and care about River State and our peace? Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is a task we must accomplish. You can always watch Rstv News live on YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. You can also subscribe and click on the notification bell for update on online